The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's T-minus 1 day until Friday. Welcome to the show. Please come inside. You know what happens when you try to, murder a president 3 times? Because your rhetoric is so filthy and violent and everything, karma comes back to bite you in the butt. In the butt big time. The Democrat Party, they are doing a death spiral into hell, and they just hate. Yesterday, you got this gerrymandering, no more race-based gerrymandering. All of the states affected, by the way, if you look at the map when they show it on CNN or whatever, they're all the ones that they're caterwauling about and screeching about are all former slave states. I know. The same, by the way, the same kind of modus operandi by the Democrat Party. Since that time, you keep black people in dependent on you. They live in crime-ridden areas. The schools are crap, so like the Democrats didn't want black people to go to school and everything or stand in front of the schoolhouse door. That's why they don't care about schools in inner cities. All right, what's in common? What's in common with these districts, these gerrymandering districts for Democrats? Well, number one, it's they're for Democrat votes. They expect black people to vote for them. But despite their representation by Democrats, they are the poorest, they are the most dependent, and they are the most crime-ridden places in America. That's what your Democrat Party has delivered you. Why are you still voting Democrat? And this is liberation. This that happened yesterday is liberation from the Democrat Party.
Well, Major, we just got this ruling within the last couple minutes.
This is CBS doing a fair, true report.
Justices in a
sit down. It's going to get weird. You're going to be like, no freaking way, this is CBS.
3-vote, a decision written by Justice Samuel Alito for the other 5 conservatives are striking down
KKK.
A second...
Somebody call the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Majority black...
We need to hire some white supremacists to create racism that doesn't exist.
District in Louisiana, ruling that state officials focused on race, and that amounted to an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. Now, this decision is...
What have I been saying for years? I said the Democrats promise people of color in America's inner cities, the sun, the moon, the stars, they're going to get everything. And the day after the election, they get up and leave some money on the dresser. They don't leave the money anymore.
It's a major one under the Voting Rights Act. It will go well beyond Louisiana.
They're giving it to Somalians and Russians and members of organized crime families.
It's going to make it, based on what we're seeing so far, it will make it...
And they're a lot more expensive, by the way, but they don't mind spending the trillions.
...harder for state officials to draw up these so-called majority-minority districts, which...
Do you see why Democrats make everything about race? Racist. Come to us. We're not racist. They're racist. They are racist. They are white supremacists. Donald Trump is a Nazi. Did you know that? My God in heaven.
Have been used for decades and have increased black representation and minority representation in Congress.
Yeah, but the great thing is, black people are starting to vote for Republicans. They're leaving the Democrat Party behind. And the Democrat Party, this is why they started working with the Southern Poverty Law Center 12 years ago to create all this nonsense because they saw them escaping the Democrat Party and running far from the Democrat Party. But the Democrat Party sends out the hounds and they start saying, we got to get you back on here. What do you think you're doing leaving the Democrat Party? I've got a friend, somebody actually I know in Baltimore. She ran for public office a couple times. She's a black woman. She left the Democrat Party. They called her every name in the book. They called her stuff that you normally reserve for a cross burning. I'm not kidding. We're going to have her on to talk about it. That's your Democrat Party.
And it also, I think, will call into question about a dozen or so existing majority minority.
Yeah, we could gain like dozens of seats, and the Democrats would be destroyed in the House of Representatives, making sure that all of the legislation that we want to make America great will sail right through.
Minority districts, mostly particularly in the South. Now, those districts, as you know, Major, have been a way for Democrats to pick up seats in some of those states.
This isn't about black votes not being counted. It's about Democrats losing when things become fair.
Those red states in the South. So this ruling is a win, I think we can say, for Republicans.
Yeah, it's a pretty big win for recovering. This is Jim Gossett.
Louisiana's districts got shut down. Throw the map out. Governor Landry is one rhino clown. Supreme Court was right to throw the map out. Can't have a district based solely on race. Toss the map out. Put gerrymandering back in its place. Did the right thing and toss the map out. Next is Virginia. Please do it again.
Yeah.
Throw their map out. Tell cheating Democrats they cannot win. We'll be so glad when they throw the map out.
There you go. That's
Make liberals mad and throw the map out. Continue the fad and throw the map out.
Jim Gossett, guys, go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. The Democrats are dying like movie vampires. It's just absolutely terrible.
So is mine.
Racist! White supremacist Nazi! Back up! He's a king! Jim Crow! Yeah, here we go. They are freaking out. And they're going to get more violent. They are. They're going to get more violent. That's just the Democrat Party. You can almost you can expect it. You can expect it. Here is one of the movie vampires, by the way, Hakeem Jeffries. Hold on, I'm going to crank this up a little bit. Hakeem Jeffries. Listen to him. He's just caterwauling.
And now we're at a point where affirmative action is gone, diversity is gone.
No, it isn't actually. Diversity's still here.
Equity gone.
Yeah, no, the basing things on your skin color and whatnot, that's gone.
Inclusion gone.
No, not at all. We always have been inclusive. You actually have excluded us.
Racial tolerance gone.
Okay, that's nonsensical and stupid.
The Voting Rights Act largely gone.
Yeah, a good share of it is because it's a little dated. We don't need it anymore.
But guess what, extremists? We're still here, and we're not going anywhere.
Okay.
And we believe in this country.
We're scared.
Not a perfect country.
Yeah. Well, you hate this country. What the hell are you talking about? You said this country is racist. You said this country is based on the labor of slaves and all of this. My God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is glorious. This is what I've been saying, guys. What have I been saying? What have I been saying for years? I said the Democrat Party is going to have to reinvent itself or disappear into the dustbin of history. I started saying this 6 or 7 years ago, and it's happening. It's happening. And here is this is Hakeem Jeffries, and this I would call this a threat because he's saying no holds barred. Listen to this.
And so the guy's falling apart. The MAGA majorities in Congress are falling apart.
No, they're not actually. We're kicking butt. Got some great unemployment numbers today too.
The Supreme Court is a disgrace.
No, it's not. They're following the Constitution.
And Ben, in the new Congress, we're going to have to do something about this Supreme Court.
Well, you're not going to be in control, so there's that. Good luck.
And let me be very clear.
Listen.
Everything is on the table.
What does that mean? Everything is on the table with the Supreme Court. Everything's on the table. He said maximum warfare. Everything's on the table. Now, remember the last time that the Democrat Party destroyed the country and split it? They were using the same language.
Everything to deal with this corrupt MAGA majority.
We're not corrupt. You guys are. We're gutting this government of massive corruption to the tune of trillions of dollars, and everybody knows it.
That is issuing political opinions that are designed to bolster the prospects of the Republican Party, and we will not allow them to succeed.
Yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Junior? What are you going to do, buddy? What are you going to do? You already burned the country in the summer of 2020. You already tried to kill Donald Trump 3 times. You already tried to put him in jail. You tried to take him off the ballot. You impeached him twice. You raided Mar-a-Lago. What else you going to do, Junior? What else are you going to do? See, this is it. Now you just what I'm trying to say. You're I'll just how do I put this? Whipping it out, and it's pretty flaccid, like it was freezing cold out. There you go. Good luck with that, Hakeem. Good luck with that, buddy. You're getting your rear end kicked. You know why? Because you are such a bloody corrupt party. You've been this way forever, and it's finally being revealed, and people are being freed from this Democrat cabal, and they're recognizing just the awfulness of the Democrat Party. On the way, Carl Higbee did the best distillation of what the Democrat Party has done to America's inner cities and why they did it. And yesterday, that began to unravel. You want to listen to this? I've reposted it all over social media, and it's outstanding. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27 Medicare. Again, that's 27 MEDICARE. Call 27 Medicare today.
Achy joints are holding you back? Listen up. Glyco Plus is your ultimate joint health companion. It's an advanced blend formulated specifically for rescue natural supplements to help keep your joints flexible and move.
TDS, James Covell has TDS. Will I land in a psych ward? That is anybody's guess. It's for sure, I'm insane. I really can't explain why for Donald Trump I have so much disdain. I'm as crazy as a loon. I'm gonna crack up soon. It's expanding like a big balloon. It's gotten even worse. It's gonna be my curse. TDS, TDS, TDS. TDS, TDS. Is it derangement? I say yes. Whenever Trump is mentioned, I become a giant mess. He causes me such pain, pain I can't contain. Of my existence, he has been a bane, like Ellen and Rosie. In our brain, he lives rent-free, driven me as crazy as can be. It's something I can't shake. How much more can I take? TDS, TDS, TDS.
Listen Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
And today we're ramping up our efforts. We see the need for it just today in today's Supreme Court decision, which was a despicable decision.
Wow, it looks like Chuck Schumer's a cyborg.
That is a return to Jim Crow, taking decades of...
Okay, there you go. So I won't play any more of that because, man, it's annoying. Jim Crow. It's Jim Crow. Chuck Schumer says this is Jim Crow. They also said this when they started making elections fair in Atlanta. He said, Jim Crow, everything's Jim Crow 2.0. You don't believe me? You want to hear Chuck Schumer?
We have supposedly,
Yeah, here we go. What?
Come a long way since African Americans in the South were forced to guess the number of jelly beans in a jar in order to be allowed to vote. America's generations-old caste system, typically associated with slavery and Jim Crow, stretching into the 21st century and poisoning the wellspring of any true democracy. Republicans are trying to limit absentee and mail-in voting, make it harder to post a ballot by drop box.
Why is that?
What's the rationale?
What is it?
Stop it.
What?
Jim Crow in the 21st century.
I just wanted to know. Yeah.
Rearing its ugly head once again. Shame on them.
Okay.
Shame.
Shame on it.
It's infuriating. They're even fine with policies
you're losing voters.
that criminalize giving food and drink to voters at the polls. These laws are anathema to the very spirit of our democracy.
What are they?
They are Jim Crow too.
Okay, all right.
And it is the Republican Party, by and large in the Senate, supporting.
They got a whole flock of Jim Crows for crying out loud. What the flock? Republicans could gain dozens of House seats after SCOTUS outlaws racial gerrymandering. Here's how Republicans could pick up to 27 additional House seats following the Supreme Court's decision to curb race-based redistricting, a shift that could reshape the 2026 midterm map. Every way they've cheated in the past is going away, giving illegals, ballots, mail-in ballots. All of these NGOs are being defunded that support Democrats and all of this. Vote harvesting, mail-in voting, all that stuff is going away. They're getting dead people and illegals off the voter rolls, and they're watching their world collapse. I told you this is movie vampires. They are movie vampires. They're dying like movie vampires. Carl Higbie did a brilliant piece on this last night, and I posted it everywhere, but I'm gonna share with you now.
LBJ replaced black fatherhood in two-parent homes with the welfare system.
He did.
And the left is so invested in this as a strategy that they are legit saying it out loud.
The decision today in Louisiana versus Calais completes the set, because it effectively dismantles the last leg in the Voting Rights Act's protections, which was for redistricting. Whereas previously, the Voting Rights Act had said when a state draws districts in ways that have the effect of diluting the voting power of racial minorities, of effectively making it so
Democrats.
Racial minorities' votes count for less
don't.
than white voters, and that they can never elect the candidates of their choice.
You mean the candidates of the Democrats' party's choice.
See,
Democrats need majority black districts because they can't win without it.
They expect
Why? Look, Democrats have swindled probably trillions of dollars since LBJ and given it specifically to black people in America. Massive welfare benefits to buy votes. Destroyed the black family structure to an extent that the black and out-of-wedlock birth rate went from 22% pre-LBJ, pre-civil rights, to 70% today.
Wow. Yeah. I've watched this, my entire life, and it's amazing. All these cities that have exclusive Democrat representation. Look at the crap holes they've made them. Look at the squalor they've made you live in. Look at the squalor the Democrat Party brought you. You have been so taken. Here's more from Carl Higbie. Hold on.
LBJ.
Nope, that's the wrong one. Here is the right one.
Look, I realize this is uncomfortable for some people. We're probably going to get a write-up from some liberal rag. But go look up LBJ and the quotes of how he thought about controlling the black. But you can't even put that stuff on TV, folks.
Super racist.
But the product of all those policies that, as you can see here, all these studies show that a fatherless household leads to higher crime in children, specifically gun homicides.
Oh, yeah.
And in the same districts that ironically Democrats want to redistrict into their caucus as they campaign against the criminal justice system.
Oh, yeah.
Like we saw with nearly...
Isn't that interesting? It's like J.B. Pritzler, standing in the schoolhouse door to keep the, National Guard in for making it awesome for people to live in Chicago. They did it in Memphis. Donald Trump did it, and the crime rate was cut in half. They did it in Washington, D.C. It's spotless. But you've got Democrats standing in the schoolhouse door again to keep it violent and keep the schools terrible so people of color are uneducated about things. They are impoverished, they are dependent, and they are ridden with crime. And also very, very, very hateful and very angry and very desirous of Republicans to be destroyed.
Every single Democrat kneeling to the Black Lives Matter movement and opposing police, defund the police movement. Remember,
what did Black Lives Matter do for you?
Remember that? It resulted in the black population having higher crime stats that lined up with the Democrat congressional district that was just overturned.
Ding,
Democrats are literally engineering the destruction of the black community and campaigning on themselves as the only solution to make themselves more dependent on the very...
Dependency, that's important. That's really dependent. But here's the thing. They've moved on. They brought in a whole bunch of illegals, 20 million of them, giving them like even more welfare you could possibly imagine. I mean, daycare and SNAP benefits and all these free hotel stays in New York and the whole deal. They're a little more expensive, but man, they'll vote Democrat. They will.
By essentially financially and socially enslaving black people to the Democrat Party once again.
Yes.
But here's the real reason
What?
Democrats are big bad.
What?
They don't give a damn about black people's representation, as I've clearly pointed out. They care about winning seats. That's all. Mm-hmm. And racial gerrymandering was one of their last mechanisms to do it. So two things happen now.
What's that?
One, watch how fast Democrats abandon their black allies in these states.
Nobody on the
because
dresser.
They're no longer of value to
Nope.
them. This is the fallout from today's decision. Look at this.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, how many seats?
This is going to be a 24-seat swing. 12 that the Democrats were going to lose that Republicans will now pick up. Now, if you add Texas and Missouri in this new district map that Florida just passed today, by the way, it'll sign by DeSantis any minute now. It could come up as high as 19. That means a 38-point swing because of this ruling today. 38 seats could swing.
Yeah, and things are going to get very good in America's inner cities for the first time in 65 damned years. It's going to happen. I fantasized about this moment my entire career. I've watched black on black violence 10 times the national average, fatherless homes 80% of the time, abortion 70% of the time. I've watched it, and it's going to end. This was created by Democrats. This started with LBJ. This started with the Great Society, and it's ending. And it is the greatest thing in the world for the country. And if you don't believe me, come to Washington, D.C., go to Anacostia, where you can now have your kid ride on a bike and not get murdered. It's remarkable. It's happening in Memphis. Great things are happening in Memphis. And Democrats are the only ones holding it up in cities like Chicago, in cities like East St. Louis and St. Louis, in cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco, where they don't want the FBI in there, where they don't want border control in there, where they don't want the National Guard in there, because they want the crime, they want the dependency, they want the resentment. That's what they want, and they see their doom. Let's take a break and come back. Michael Charbon from Canada joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about GhostBed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. GhostBed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new GhostBed.
Drugs transported by boat, Venezuela. You best take note. Cartels, they're having fits 'cause they're men. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'Cause drugs, we won't tolerate. Shut it down before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. Yep.
3, 2, 1. Oh, beauty, go.
Take off to the great white north.
Take off. It's a beauty way to go.
Take off to the great white north.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is very rare air being breathed on the Rob Carson Show that you have your own theme song, ladies and gentlemen. But Michael Charbon from the Charbon Report does. Michael Charbon, how are you? You're looking snappy today, by the way. I don't hear you. I don't hear him. Okay, hold on. How about now? Nope. How about now? Nope. How about now? Nope. That's on your end. That's on your end.
Sorry, buddy.
Right there.
Buddy.
I hear you. I hear you. You know, this is the way we do things here. Sometimes, you know,
I'm not hearing
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Reading your lips.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hold on. How about this? Does that make a difference? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, this is kind of doing a faceplant here. What's going on? Somebody help me out here, and we will get it figured out. Michael, can you hear this? Okay, because
I don't hear that.
I don't hear it either, man. That's a crazy thing. Hold on 1 second. I hear Michael Charbon, and Michael Charbon does not hear me. And for some reason, I'm playing the audio on my end, but you are not receiving it, and I'm no longer hearing it. So I don't know what the deal is, but let's try to get it figured out. And if we have to come back to Michael Charbon, and we'll come back to Michael Charbon. And if we can't get the video to work, then we will, because we had it working earlier, Ken. I didn't reset anything. But if we can't, we'll have to just do a phone line or something. Does that sound okay? I need to hear from one of my guys in the ear here. That'd be great. It would be awesome.
Call him on the phone.
Let's call him on the phone. This is the kind of things that happen. These are the kind of things that happened when you do something like this, and you're just now trying to get live guests on the air for the very first time. It is strange because it worked perfectly earlier today. It worked absolutely perfectly easy earlier today. I'm going to go ahead and play something else here and see if this actually plays. All right.
Yep.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yes.
Michael, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, enough with this. Let's take Michael off the and get him on the phone, and we'll get it going.
I can hear you on the phone.
You can hear me on the phone. Or do you have the phone on? Can you hear me now? All right, let's end it. Get him on the phone. No live stream. That's okay. It's not a big deal. We'll just do it that way. It's not a big deal at all. Let's get him back on there, and we will take it from there when we reset this thing. How's that sound? In the meantime, something here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 47th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
This is a brand new bit that I
First
saw
Lady Mrs. Maloney
I normally
Trump.
don't play other people's comedy, but it's brilliant. While we're waiting for Michael to get on, I want you to hear this.
I got Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the motherfucker.
TDS. Democrats have TDS. You can't catch it from French kissing. No, it's all inside your head.
Okay, so I just played that real quick because I was trying to fill some time. I did post that on my Rumble channel. Let's go to Michael Charbon, hopefully, right now from the Charbon Report. Can you hear me, sir?
Rob Carson, I can. You know, it's an honor to be with you on this beautiful nationally syndicated radio station.
Yes.
Newsmax.
Now we're getting weird feedback.
I know. Well, that's because I'm talking to you on the phone, and you see my ugly face on the StreamYard here.
Yeah.
A little technical difficulties.
Well, let's kill the StreamYard. Kill the StreamYard, and let's do the phone. I don't like working this stuff out on the air. This really bothers me. This is yuck. This is yuck. Honestly. We were talking about the words, kill your stream. It's not hard. I do it in the middle of the night all the time. But anyway, Michael Charbon. We're going to 86 your live stream. We were mentioned earlier, and you told me off the air when we did the successful test of the live stream, that 86, the Democrats are saying, oh, no, it's like taking something off a menu. That is otherwise.
That's correct. 86 is a mob term that they used to use in Las Vegas. You take it 8 miles out into the desert and you bury it 6 feet. Hence why they said 86.
Whoa.
And you've got to think, think about that. Think of the beautifulfulness of this. That's the way they use that. Yes. But what's even more scary, which I think is kind of a different. You know the Funky Beach Images. You know that corporation, the Funky Beach Images, which is short form for FBI.
Oh yes.
How the heck? You tell me how Comey didn't know ATM, DOJ, and what 86 meant. I mean, he's going to have some difficulty saying that he didn't really know what was going on. I don't believe that.
It's nonsense. Honestly, you know why I know that he knew what I meant? Because I'm not stupid, Michael. And I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm tired of them throwing doubt in our faces when there is no doubt. I am just so done with this childish bullcrap. This, I know you are, but what am I? I know. No, I didn't do it. You did it. No, I didn't. You did it. You ate the cookie. I could tell. You know why? Because the crumbs are on your shirt and the icing is around your mouth. Okay, please. We're not stupid.
And what you did on the Higbee piece, I've met Higbee. He is an amazing guy. What you did and your stop and go that you added to it is absolutely on point.
Yes.
That has to be proliferated to the world. They have to understand what's going on, and it's stuff like that makes such a huge difference.
Yep.
And Rob Carson, you're cutting your own swath, buddy. Hey, congratulations on hosting. You don't have a big swath because I know you work out now.
Yes.
I watched your thing at the Trump Kennedy Center.
Oh yes.
Wow.
Did you like it?
Dude.
I was a little at the very beginning. I had to fill some time. I didn't know I was going to have to fill time, so I came up with a couple of things on the moment. I said, if I had an apartment at the Watergate next door, I'd have a flashlight party. I would have people over and turn the lights off and just have flashlights just to freak my neighbors out. So I made that up as we did that. So I was a little nervous at the very beginning, but it was amazing with Kevin O'Leary and also Ashley Davis. They're both terrific, and I learned so much from Kevin. And I think the interview, if you watch it.
Now? Are you richer now? Like you get the slight influence of a Canadian on a Thursday. Did Mr. Wonderful impart something on you?
He did actually, and I enjoyed and I think you'll enjoy the conversation from both of them. He talked about. I asked him some questions on the fly, like how do you make yourself as a new employee indispensable? I asked him that. He talked about Marty Supreme and how he went from this to actor all of a sudden, and how it's changed his life. He talked a lot about trades, learning the trades, and not worrying about business school and all this bull crap, because actually there's more satisfaction and more money being an electrician a lot of the times. So it was a great interview. It's on all of my social media, but thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
No, it was really good. I watched the whole thing, and you have an engaging way. You talk like we all think, and you really brought it together. I thought that was really good. And again, it's a compliment to you and your listeners. I got to tell you.
I appreciate that.
We always talk about how we are friends.
Yes.
Something happened in the NHL. Of course, I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, born and bred, raised. Yes. I love the Leafs. They didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
But our friends across the border, the Buffalo Sabres, we love the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
The Sabres are playing against the Boston Bruins. The Bruins hit the Maple Leafs many years and kicked them out. Buffalo's leading 3-2. The last game,
yes,
they always in Buffalo play both the Canadian national anthem and the American national anthem, regarding what teams are playing. The anthem singer, Rob, the mic came off. And what did our American brothers, friends, patriots, and neighbors do? They sang the Canadian national anthem. We've done the same. And
I love it.
And you know what? I'm telling you, regardless of your government, I'm telling you, Rob, we love Americans.
Yeah.
You are our friends.
Yeah.
We are neighbors. I just want to say how wonderful that
great.
was. I mean, it happened in Edmonton and a couple of other cities as well. I just wanted to point that out because I think that's really important.
That's
for everybody.
beautiful. On the other side of the break, I want to talk about King Charles' visit here. I know that Canada is very closely tied to Great Britain, and particularly the royal family. Want to share some of that on the other side. No more technical difficulties. Michael Charbon is joining us. We'll be back in a minute. This is the Rob Carson Show.
p.m.
Fourth Submarine Squadron in Australia, playing a critical role during the war in the Pacific. Her name? HMS Trump.
Cool.
So tonight, Mr. President, I am delighted to present to you, as a personal gift, the original bell which hung on the conning tower of your valiant namesake.
Wow.
May it stand as a testimony to our nation's shared history and shining future. And should you ever need to get hold of us, or just give us a ring.
That is King Charles presenting the bell from the conning tower of the HMS Trump, a World War II vessel. And I got to tell you, I think even the President of the United States was kind of at a loss for words. I think he was flattered beyond belief. What do you think about that, Michael Charbon?
I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I think one of the best comments, because I think what the king did was show how human he is. The humanity, a little bit of joking. And he said one of the best lines was, King Charles says, you know, you were talking about how when America came into World War II, you stopped Europe from talking German? And he says, yes, but we as the English stopped you from speaking French.
There were some good-hearted jabs between two individuals, and I'm going to tell you, both of them are such good public speakers. They can move from script to improvisation and whatnot. And I got to tell you, I love to hear proper English when it's delivered in a brilliant fashion, and it really was good. The King's narrative was beautiful. By the way, he was at Arlington National Cemetery with the Queen today. That's fantastic. It was covered live by Newsmax, by the way, and all of us who've been by Arlington or we've seen the changing of the guard, you know what an amazing place that is, what a haunting place that is, and it's fantastic that the president was there with the King and Queen of England today.
You know, we in Canada have always had respect for the monarchy. A lot of people have said that, oh, the monarchy is dead, and who's a king, who's a queen. You know, history is very important, and we saw 4 years ago how a certain party wanted to remove history, take down statues, and try to recreate history. What King Charles is doing is representing something of the monarchy. He still doesn't run the UK, but we have respect for the pomp and ceremony, and it was wonderful to see everybody. I thought Melania Trump looked absolutely fantastic.
God!
And another point, you know, how everybody had been saying that she's never been on the cover of magazines. Again, that shows to the liberal, how do you say, ignorance. I think Melania Trump is absolutely beautiful. She's so elegant. And when she stood up to Kimmel, I thought that was great as well. And of course, Kimmel goes back and starts starting. I can't believe that.
He's a bug. Meanwhile, Jill Biden, who dresses like a couch or a pair of curtains, made it on every magazine. I think Michelle Obama made it even on the cover of Men's Health. Anyway, that's.
Oh, God. That's Dr. Biden to you, by the way.
Yes,
I love it was a comedian. I think it was probably you who was talking about if somebody had a heart attack, Ms. Biden, Dr. Biden couldn't give resuscitation.
Yeah. So I was wondering if you guys were a little jealous that we had such a cozy relationship with the King and Queen of England. And I was wondering if a lot of Canadians kind of looked at all of this love that we were getting, kind of like you would watching your girlfriend kiss another dude. Was there a little of that going on up there?
No, not kissing another dude. You know what? It's pride to say that you guys see a little bit of what we've always been respectful of and appreciative of. The King does not rule Canada, and the King does not rule the UK, but it is an element of respect. We have to respect our history and what was accomplished. Yeah. And I will tell you, it was because of the UK that we had banks and monetary situations, because when Spain and Portugal and all those guys started to send boats around to do trade, it was England that had the bank.
Speaking of trade, I want to talk about the issue with liquor in Canada. You guys have got a major thing going on with American booze. What's the latest on that, brother?
So the situation is that it was kind of a retaliatory situation where what we wanted to do was take the American liquor off and boycott it.
Yeah.
The scenario was that now that Lutnick and some of those guys are saying, well, you know, we're going to have to take some action. I mean, it's a 4.5. It's not 4.5. It's $1 billion. I stand corrected. Check that.
Yeah.
But the point is here that Canada is in no rush because 85% of all the stuff that we're sending to the United States applies to CUSMA.
Mm-hmm.
And the scenario is that the other things that are starting to take effect, that's a 50% tax on steel and aluminum, etc., that's all going to come and haunt both sides of the border. And I believe, as much as Donald Trump wants to have the Iran war solved, the Ukraine war solved, as soon as we can fix this trade war between us, the sooner we can talk about marching towards the midterms and really making a positive leap. So that the Republicans...
But here's why Trump's doing it, because he's trying to weaken Carney. I'm just telling you right now. He's trying to weaken Carney.
It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Well,
Carney's saying, you know what? When Lutnick says that we demand concessions, well, you know what? I'm going to tell you, we don't demand concessions. That's not the way we work. And I will stand. I'm not a liberal by any stretch of the imagination, but I will tell you, what Mark Carney has done is strategically worked in the background to start to alleviate the dependency on the American economy. And he had to do that.
You've been a sucker fish. You've been a sucker fish on the Great White Shark of America for a very long time.
Ooh, well, oh my goodness! Do you know that?
Go to China. Go sell your stuff to China. God. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
No. You know what, Rob? I love you like a brother, but I'm going to tell you, we sold you oil that manufacturing and petrochemical companies that were built on the East Coast and the South. In Louisiana were built to take our heavy crude because it has a lot of sulfur in it. And when we don't send it down there, it's going to take a couple of years to refurbish it.
All right, listen, we got to cut. But I'm going to tell you, I don't drink, but I'm thinking about bringing up a trunkload of bootleg whiskey and selling up to you guys. Make some money.
Rob Carson, I love you, man.
Oh, God bless you, brother. Michael Charbon, where can people find all your glorious work?
The charbonreport.com. I'm on YouTube, and you know I'm on the Rob Carson Show every Thursday.
Yes, you are, brother.
And Sundays on the John Glasgow Show. Thanks.
All right, God bless you, brother. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. You know, I've got to always give Michael a little grief. I'm sorry that technically at the beginning was a crap show. But I enjoy. Hello, 1965 War Eagle, Bad Boy 24. What up? How are you guys? Jamie Billette, Valentina, Wild Bill West. Awesome. Love grilling and smoking meat. Well, Wild Bill, what the hell? So do I, actually. I've got a smoker. I'm going to do a food project this weekend. I'm going to make some more pesto this weekend. That's what I think I'm going to do on Sunday. I want to make pesto because I haven't done any in a while. What am I going to do? Oh, I know what to do. Hold on. I'm going to do something here. Hold on. It's the world. Oh, I want to do that last break. Hold on 1 second. Just tell me. Hold on. One more thing from Carl Higbee. All right. Anyway, Matthew, JT, what up? Because he's done. Right now, anybody still supporting that guy? Don't know who that is. Shuttered. Oh, just dropping in to say hello. Well, great. Listen daily. Thank you, Shuttered. I appreciate you. Really do, actually. Thank you. And you should join us more often. Pat Carr, truth be told, too. What's up? All you guys watching over on the X. On the X. Got a lot of people watching on the X, as always. Get some great listenership, viewership up there. It's time for me to talk again. Yeah, here we go. Higbee. Here we go. This is weird. All right, I got to talk. Excuse me, guys. I apologize. Might be going up to Delaware this weekend. We'll see. There's a political event up there I may attend. If I do it, I'll make sure to tell you about it. Here we go. Come on.
Who would it now?
Last night I went to a really cool event. Mike Davis, Article 3 Project, teaming up with Elise Stefanik. She's got a new book. And, normally I could give a rat's behind about politicians' books. This book is freaking phenomenal. And it is called Poisoned Live, the inside account of the academic and moral rot at America's elite universities. She had one of the most watched congressional hearings where she took down these Karens in charge of the Ivy League schools, wrecked them. Ended up having, what's her name, from Harvard resign. Several of them resigned. And we're going to get Elise Stefanik on. I walk in last night to this place they're having this thing. First person I see is Todd Blanche, acting AG. And I walked up to him and I said, Mr. Blanche, you are doing such an outstanding job. And I shook his hand. I said, what a great day today is. We're talking about the Supreme Court decision and, of course, the indictments that came out yesterday with regard to Jim Comey. And I just thanked him. I thanked him for making the country safer and better and finally holding people accountable. That was cool. Met Elise Stefanik. She's a spitfire. She's amazing. I told her I loved her takedown of the presidents of those universities and shredding. I said, you shredded Jake Tapper like cheddar a couple weeks ago. She enjoyed that. Nick, let me see. Who else did I meet? Mike Davis, of course, Mike Davis, Article 3. Hung out with him last night. Also, Andy Ogles, Representative Andy Ogles. He was the guy who said that when he was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, that there was a journalist who said that she wished Donald Trump would have died. He said that. We're going to have him on. Nick Sorter. Saw him last night. He's one of these gonzo Gen Z journalists, and it was neat to meet him and his girlfriend, and also Julie Kelly, the journalist. That girl like 6 feet tall. She's taller than, she maybe 6'2" with heels on. She was taller than me, but I got to meet Julie Kelly. I'm a big admirer of all of those people, and it was just a thrill to be able to meet those people last night. And I'm going to be posting pictures up all on social media, and realize I don't do this for me. I'm not there to drink and party and all that nice. I'm there to meet these people, let them know you're here, and then share with you. That's why I'm here. I really don't particularly care to go out to bars and whatnot. This was a hotel, whatever. But I got to meet some of these people, and I got to hand some business cards, and we're going to be bringing them to the airwaves here and making them real for you, not just talking heads. There you go. All right, hour number 2 of the Rod Carson Show is on the way. I promise you, it will be at least as good or better than hour number 1. Don't go anywhere.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. And we have so much to get on to today. Ron Johnson is telling the truth about the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. The number of vaccine-related injuries increased 55 times while it happened. You couldn't say anything about it, though. You could not say anything about it because that was disinformation or misinformation, and it also killed children who are otherwise completely healthy. But, of course, these are only things we've been talking about for a long time. But, again, we were told it was disinformation and misinformation. So there is that. We know the Supreme Court decision yesterday could benefit Republicans gain dozens of House seats after racial gerrymandering has been made illegal. The Democrat Party have kept people of color on the thought plantation for years, and I think it's good news. Carl Higbee delivered this brilliant monologue last night. I shared it earlier, and I posted it on all my social media. It really is a perfect distillation of what the Democrat Party ushered in with Lyndon Johnson, who was a rabid racist, by the way. And I want to do the final segment from that piece here real quick, where Carl effectively drops the mic.
Which makes a Democrat-controlled House nearly impossible for the foreseeable future, which is great because the Republicans in Congress aren't exactly exciting turnout right now because they're not really doing a lot or anything. How's that maximum warfare working out for you, Hakeem?
As it relates to anything that has been said, certainly as it relates to the comment related to maximum warfare, everywhere, all the time,
now he's really
in connection with the redistricting battle that Republicans launched. I stand by it. You can continue to criticize me for it. I don't give a damn about your criticism.
The Democrat Party is going to get violent, even more than they are right now. That's permission. He also said some things about the Supreme Court that were effectively threatening. He said everything is on the table. They are out of their minds because they know they are losing it. They are absolutely losing it. They can't steal elections anymore. The people of color no longer believe they're nonsense. They know that in these gerrymandered racial districts, they have all these things in common. They have poverty, crime, Democrat leadership, a dependence on social programs, and resentment. That's what they have in all of them. And they've made these districts into hell holes. And black people and other people of color have lived in these districts and lived in hell, in darkness for 65 years. And that's going to come to a screeching halt by the grace of God. This is the Berlin Wall for America's inner city communities. We've been waiting for this forever. Change is coming, and Democrats are freaking out. This is Angie Nixon in the Florida House storming the chamber with a bullhorn while the chamber passes Ron DeSantis' congressional map, which adds 4 seats. Listen to it. Yeah. Movie vampires. Yeah. Good luck. Yeah, scared a bullhorn. Yeah, you look like an idiot. You look like a complete idiot. This is a guy I just subscribed to his X channel. His name is Damani Felder. And I want you to listen to his perspective on the Supreme Court decision from a black man.
The Supreme Court just gutted the Voting Rights Act.
Oh, he's an Uncle Tom. No, he's not. No, he's a common sense guy. And what he's saying here is fantastic.
Harder for black and brown people to vote. No, they didn't. And let me tell you why anyone saying that should actually be viewed with contempt, particularly if you are a minority, a black or brown person yourself. All the Supreme Court did was say, hey, if you're in a particular area, this case Louisiana, you can't look at a map and say, this area is 85-90% black. Let me draw the lines around this district all funny so that I get a bunch of black people.
Because we've convinced black people that Republicans are white supremacists and Nazis, and they should live with what we give them, which is a pittance.
In these districts, right? They said you can't do that anymore. Now, why would that be a problem?
And when crime goes through the ceiling and the family's destroyed, you blame it on the Republicans, you'd ask for reparations.
Why is it that the Democrat Party thinks that it's an affront to their hold on power? They think that if you have a large minority group of people that's all in the same area, they think that that means that all those people are going to vote for them. They think that those people are
80% of them do.
So afraid of blowback or getting punished. Or
what are you getting for your representation? What are you getting? Bad schools, terrible schools, rampant crime, no good places to buy groceries because nobody wants to do business there.
Attack that they will simply fall in lockstep.
That's a food desert caused by Democrat policies.
And vote Democrat every single time. There used to be a word for that. It started with the word S and rhymes with knavery. See, that's why they're upset, right? Because they think that, just because the chains were taken off by Republicans in the past, we want to keep those chains on now. And anything that gets in the way of us keeping a stranglehold on the black or brown population should be viewed as gutting the Voting Rights Act. And we're just simply saying, look, you cannot simply sit there and say there's lots of black or brown people in these areas. Let's draw the maps in a way that we capture them all to ourselves because we know that they are duty bound to vote for the Democrat Party, or at least they think they are.
Yeah. Yep. That's true, And I told you, the Democrats, they promise you the sun, the moon, and the stars in America's inner cities. And then the election happens, they get your vote, and they leave some money on the dresser, but they stop leaving money on the dresser. Yeah. I am praying that we finally see an end to this. And we see light and joy. I told you, we got to overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism and faith. And it's happening. It's happening. When there are supply constraints on commodities, prices surge. You see it with oil prices, Straits of Hormuz, the Iranians. We're getting the Iranians later. We're kicking their butts right now, and some great things are coming. Same can be said for gold. They mine it out of the ground, and once it's gone, it's gone. Once somebody owns it, you can't own it. If they have that gold coin, you can't own that gold coin, so you got to find your own. And the supply is limited. Birch Gold wants you to consider investing in precious metals. And now through May 29th, Birch Gold giving first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. Hello. For details, all you got to do is text my name, Rob, to 989898. They're going to give you some free information, no obligation. They're not going to call you all that stuff. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k that is underperforming like mine was into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold. And right now, text Rob to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for the first-time gold buyer $10,000 rebate, up to $10,000 rebate when you're a first-time gold buyer. Text Rob to 989898. I think we need to hear this bye-bye racial gerrymandering decision by the SCOTUS from Jim Gossett. Here it is. Brand new piece of comedy, and it's hilarious.
Louisiana's districts got shut down. Arr. Throw the map out. Governor Landry is one rhino clown. Supreme Court was right to throw the map out. Can't have the district based solely on race. Toss the map out.
It's race.
Put gerrymandering back in its place. Did the right thing and toss the map out. Next is Virginia. Please do it again. Throw the map out. Tell cheating Democrats they cannot win. We'll be so glad when they throw the map out. Make liberals mad and throw the map out. Continue the fad and throw the map out.
There you go. Tim Gossett, here's the new AG for the state of Virginia, getting his rear end handed to him by a CNN anchor. He had no good answer for their gerrymandering and what they tried to do in the state of Virginia, taking away Republican representation. Listen to this. This is fascinating. You normally don't hear this from CNN anchors.
Virginia's constitution, because voters didn't have the 90 days between the General Assembly passing the constitutional amendment allowing this redistricting and the voters voting on it. It was signed in early February by the governor. It was passed in January. It went early March for early votes. It was presented to voters. Do you disagree with that timing argument?
Well, look, again, I think that one judge, an activist judge who
I'm not asking you about the judge. I'm asking you really, it's about a math problem. It's about a math problem. It's the timing clause. I laid out the dates. We're talking about facts. We're not talking about, I know you don't you have disagreements with this judge and you're calling this judge an activist. Let's talk about the argument here and the merits of it. Can you address that?
Wow. Even CNN knows they're going to lose. Even CNN wants to be on the right side of history. ABC, by the way, with regard to the Supreme Court decision, which was based on the Constitution and whatnot, they're convinced the reason why the justices voted for it was because Donald Trump had them over for dinner. I'm not kidding. I wish I were. Provided I can get it to play. Here we go. Hold on. Here we go again. There we go. That's not it. Here it is. Hold on one more time. We're having some computer issues today. I don't know what the deal is. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break and come back. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break and come back. We've got that on the other side, and we're going to talk a little bit about Iran, all the good things that are happening in Iran. Their economy is shriveled up. Their currency is worthless as Confederate currency at the end of the Civil War. That's all coming up, and this is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27 Medicare. Again, that's 27 MEDICARE. Call 27 Medicare today.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here. Deported. Deported.
deported.
Boom, 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 boom. How. We're going to get to Iran in one moment. This is ABC saying the reason why the Supreme Court voted against racial gerrymandering was because Donald Trump had him over for dinner.
This is also worth noting that this announcement is coming just the morning after the president had 6 conservative Supreme Court justices on the guest list here last night for that lavish state dinner with the king. But there is no question that the president, we have seen him and other Republicans backing these efforts in many states across the country ahead of the midterms. And now, as Devin was noting, this will set off an opportunity for other states to try and follow suit, and it certainly could reduce the minority voter influence.
Do you really think that inviting the Supreme Court to dinner the other night was enough to make them, adhere to the Constitution, particularly after dinner on Saturday night was interrupted by an attempted assassination? You really think the Supreme Court was really excited about dinner with the president after the Democrat nonsense that happened on Saturday night? I'm just throwing that in there. Too bad, so sad. We have a Supreme Court that's following the Constitution. That's it. And the 3 dissenting opinions are purely based on panic and emotion. So that's it. Too bad, so sad. Sucks to be you. Let's move on. What's going on in Iran? Here is Jack Keane, and why the Iranian leadership is not complying and coming to the table. Even though we're doing a blockade.
The people running the regime, their only objective is to survive and stay in power. The amount of economic peril that the blockade will put on Iran is real. Eventually, it could cause an economic collapse. But they don't care about the suffering of their people.
They don't.
Whether the electricity is on or whether there's long gas lines or other economic plight that the people will suffer. They
kind of like the Democrats when they do a government shutdown. I mean, exactly like the Democrats when they want to do a government shutdown.
Will not give in my judgment.
Yeah.
What we need to do is finish the objectives.
Yeah, we're going to have to go boom, boom. Here's the president yesterday talking about the nuclear thing because they don't want to. Their pride and hubris is going to cost them. They're going to lose their leadership, and the people are going to be free because they don't want to give up their nukes.
We're not flying anymore with 18-hour flights every time we want to see a piece of paper. We're doing it telephonically, and it's very nice.
We're doing Zoom calls from now on until you pull your heads out of your butts.
Come a long way. The question is whether or not they're going to go far enough. So at this moment, there will never be a deal unless they agree that there will be no nuclear weapons.
And I think what we're going to have to do is bomb the snot out of them again. There you go. And apparently we're getting kind of ready to do that. Here is the president just saying, here's what they need to do.
How long are you prepared to maintain the blockade? Could that go several more months?
Well, the blockade is genius, okay? The blockade is 100% foolproof.
Oh, my God.
It shows how good our Navy is, I can tell you that. Nobody's going to play games. Militarily, we've wiped them out. They have no military left.
They don't.
It's all, the Navy's at the bottom of the sea. The Air Force is never going to fly again.
Yep.
We've got an amazing military. Now they have to cry uncle. That's all they have to do. Just say, we give up.
Yeah. There you go. They're not going to, so we'll just bomb the snot out of them, drive those remnants of the IRCG and the Ayatollah, the cardboard Ayatollah, the gay cardboard Ayatollah. He's probably dead. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth on Wednesday appeared before the House Armed Services Committee with General Dan Kane, chair of the Joint Chief of Staff, went off on Democrat Representative Gerrymandering from California for calling the successful campaign, the overwhelmingly successful campaign by our military versus Iran, destroying their military industrial complex. And here is, I'm just going to sit back and watch this. You ready? Because this is Pete Hegseth coming in off the top rope with a folding chair.
I didn't get a chance. I didn't see a question in the statement from the congressman. I hope you appreciate how reckless it is. When I said reckless, feckless, and defeatist of congressional Democrats at the beginning, that came after watching you say the same thing on CNN this morning, a quagmire. My generation served in a quagmire in Iraq and Afghanistan, years and years of nebulous missions and utopian nation building that led us to nothing. What we have right now, the way you stain the troops when you tell them 2 months in, Congressman, you should know better. Shame on you. Calling this a quagmire 2 months in. Yeah. The effort, what they've undertaken, what they've succeeded, the success on the battlefield that creates strategic opportunities, the courage of a president to confront a nuclear Iran, and you call it a quagmire, handing propaganda to our enemies. Shame on you for that statement. And statements like that are reckless to our troops. Don't say I support the troops on one hand, and then a 2-month mission is a quagmire. That's a false equivalation. Who are you cheering for here? Who are you pulling for? Our troops are doing incredible work. They've done incredible things for the entirety of this mission and achieved incredible battlefield successes. And you sit there and go on TV for your clickbait about quagmires. It undermines the mission. Your hatred for President Trump blinds you to the truth of the success of this mission and the historic stakes that the president is addressing, which the American people support. Iran's been at war with us for 47 years. You want to talk about a forever war? For 2 months, this president has stared them down. He's going to get a better deal than anyone ever has and ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. I know the American people support that mission, despite your loose talk and words like quagmire.
I love that. Mo 160 M167 said the entire Democrat Party is a quagmire. Yeah, 100% on my Rumble chat. Yeah, baby. You know what? Tired of this bull crap. How dare you? And you know what? This is backfiring on Democrats because there are a lot of Democrats who have children in the military, husbands and wives in the military. How dare you? I mean, honestly, the Democrat Party, death spiral into hell. It's continuing and it's intensifying, and bye-bye. There you go. It's continuing, it's intensifying, and you're going to have to reinvent the party or let it go into the dustbin of history because it is falling apart. There you go. By the way, this morning I set my alarm for 7:45, and that's sleeping late for me, right? So I wake up at 7 o'clock. In my ghost bed, which I love, by the way, gift from God. The ghost bed is a gift from God. I mean, it's spectacular. And I say, you know what? 7 o'clock. I said I'm going to sleep till 7:45. So I put my head back on the pillow, and I forced myself to go to sleep. And I had a full-blown dream. I had a dream. I mean, I sound like Martin Luther King Jr. I had a dream. And I woke up again, and it was 11 minutes after. I had the dream in 11 minutes. That's how fast I went to sleep. On my ghost bed. I'm not kidding. I timed the dang thing. 11 minutes. And I was asleep and had a dream and woke up in 11 minutes. It was weird. Ghost bed is the best mattress I've ever owned in my life. The price is amazing. I'll just say it was between $1,000 and $2,000, which is a pittance for a night's sleep. A glorious mattress that keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's cold. And the best sleep I've ever had, the most comfort I've ever had. It is the best thing ever. Yeah, you know, the only other thing that lasts less than 11 minutes on that bed, well, we won't get it there because it hasn't happened in so long. That said, ghostbed.com/Carson to save 10%. Ghostbed.com/Carson to save 10%. And when you get your ghost bed, you send me your review because you're going to love it. I promise you. It's the best thing ever. You can have 11 minutes of bliss. It could be a dream. It could be something else. You might end up, with a son or daughter. Who the hell knows? But it's ghostbed.com/Carson. My child rearing days are over. Let's take a break and come back. Joining us next, Cliff Maloney, CEO of Citizens Alliance, talking about his new book and other stuff. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing right now in the numbers is President Trump and the Republican Party are chipping away at the long-term advantage that Democrats have had with black voters, with African Americans. You can see it right here. What? Look, Trump's approval among African Americans at this point in term one, he was at 12%.
Yeah.
He's been losing ground with a lot of people. Yeah. He's gaining ground with African Americans. He's up to 16% at this point. And you say, this isn't that big of a shift. But I will tell you, Republicans absolutely love this shift that's going on because Democrats have had such a long-term advantage. The fact that he's actually gaining ground versus where he was in term number one, this has major implications.
Yeah, because you see people in America's inner cities are recognizing that the Democrat Party's representation has brought them nothing but crime, poor schools, dependence on social welfare programs that are diminishing, murder, did I mention, crime, the whole deal. So they're recognizing that the Democrats have been screwing them over for like 65 years. Actually, for more than 150 years. But to join us to talk about this and other things is Cliff Maloney, the CEO of Citizens Alliance. He's got a new book called Run Right, ladies and gentlemen. Cliff, welcome to the show. How are you, brother?
Rob, always great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this Run Right, a complete election playbook to win. But there are some cards lining up very nicely. This Supreme Court decision yesterday, I mean, did you hear the heads exploding, the Democrat heads exploding across the country? I thought Hakeem Jeffries is saying anything, no holds barred with going after the Supreme Court, which sounds a lot like violence to me. They're off the hook today.
Well, and it's so ironic because, look, they're obviously all in on this Virginia redistricting.
Yes.
But all of a sudden there's a redistricting decision in our favor, and they act like the world's ending. Yeah. And it's just, but here's the thing I want to warn your entire listeners about.
Yes.
Because as much as I'm excited, and as much as this is a huge win, this means Republicans have to act. And one of the things I'm a Republican, but one of the things these Republican leaders are addicted to is doing nothing.
I know.
And so this is going to be a huge, huge push because it's a big opportunity, but we have to take action now that this has come out at Supreme Court law of the land.
We really are. We're getting the cards lining up, and you know how Republicans are frequently. They always are willing to snatch victory or snatch defeat out of the arms of victory, whatever you want to say. But they always manage to blow it. And I got to tell you, I think people get a lot damn tired with people like John Thune not being able to pass the SAVE Act and whatnot. And we recognize that this kind of stuff has to get done, and we've got to strike while the iron is hot.
100% agree, and the iron is hot, and that's why every activist, every single person listening to the Rob Carson show, you got to call your elected officials at the state level. They've got to reconvene in these red states. They've got to take action. I mean, we're talking up to 10, some reports 12 or 15 seats if Republicans take action.
More than that, brother. I mean, down the road, they're talking 40. This is going to be gigantic. This is taking away the Democrats' ability to keep people dependent, uneducated, resentful, all of these things in America's inner cities so they can get their votes. And they know that they've been able to do this for more than 60 years. And this is a major bullet in their magazine, arrow in their quiver, and it's being taken away.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I mean, I think this is an opportunity, but it's also a moment where I'm hoping Republicans will step up. We can't have any John Thunes at the state level.
No.
We need patriots, not rhinos.
Now, Cliff, you put together this book, and I think it's exactly where we need to go here with regard to Run Right, a complete election playbook to win. I normally don't like to talk about book interviews with people, but I think this is spot on. Tell me a little bit about what you think we need to do. We got the midterms coming up. We got 2028, 2.5 years away. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, Rob, listen, I mean, the left has about 40 different books that they give to candidates, they give the campaign staff, that they give to activists and volunteers. It really walks them through what it's like in the reality of politics, not the abstract, not the theory. So this Run Right, folks can check it out at runrightbook.com. It's just my playbook. It's putting together. We've won over 400 races, everything from dog catcher to flipping Pennsylvania for Trump.
Yeah.
And I just lay it out. There's 18 steps to run for office. And it starts with, hey, I'm thinking about running for office. And, it leads you through actually running, how to win, and most importantly, how to win and stay principled.
Yeah.
So I put kind of all my experiences out there. Obviously, I talk about the ground game, which is what we do. But, the left just says, they have a book called Run for Something, a foreword by Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And as I'm reading this, I'm like, man, we need something like this on the right.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about running for office or getting involved in politics, runrightbook.com. It's all there.
Yeah, and I think that this is an ideal time. You've got states like Maryland where the governor is now upside down. He's a Democrat. He's upside down. That never happens in left of center Maryland. We obviously had a setback with regard to Virginia. I moved to Virginia 8 months ago. They elected an insane, crazy cat lady, and they tried to ram through this redistricting, which is going to fail in the Supreme Court, which is a blessing. However, we need to figure out how to win in these states. We need to figure out how to, for instance, in Maryland, it's about damn time they flipped Maryland. It's about damn time they flipped California. California couldn't be worse off. It's about damn time that people in Minnesota, and listen, there are plenty, these states are dominated by the population centers, which ruin it for everybody. How do we take back those states?
Yeah, and look, I explain a lot of that in the book. Is just walking through. You've got to start from the bottom up, right? A lot of these folks that want to run, for these statewide offices. I mean, look, I give them credit. We need people to step up and run. But what I really try to talk people through is finding races that are winnable, swing districts,
yes,
and going out and figuring out how can we continue to chip away. Maryland has been chipping away.
Yeah.
Like you said, the governor's numbers are underwater. California, like you said, it's horrific out there. It's such a beautiful, beautiful state, and they're just destroying it with these liberal policies.
When you look
that's the whole point of the book.
I love it.
Is to tell people the basics to win these elections.
Now, you're looking at like Steve Hilton. His campaign is pretty remarkable to watch. Not a big money campaign. Clearly, he's out in front. Bianco is number 2, and then Democrat on the way. What is he doing that you like?
Well, I think Steve is a great communicator. I think the one thing that 2024 taught us is that you have to be authentic. Yeah. When people
100%.
meet Steve, when they see him, when they interact with him, he's a real dude.
Yeah.
Right? That was the whole Kamala versus Trump
connection.
Like most people we talk to, even if they disagree with policy, they want somebody that they feel is authentic. Yeah. I think Steve is knocking that out of the park.
I do too, brother. I'm optimistic about California. I really, really am. I actually thought that the recall of Newsom happened, but the election system out there is so fake and so corrupt. It's ridiculous. I want to thank you for joining me today, Cliff. The book is called Run Right, a complete election playbook. Runrightbook.com. I'm telling you, if you're thinking about running for office, and I know several people who've tried to run for office and they failed. If you're thinking about it, if this is something you can't just immediately jump in and hold a few fundraisers. You need a playbook. And if you're not a politician, this is a good start. Cliff, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being on the show today.
Rob, you're a patriot. You take care now.
All right. RunRightBook.com. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
This is AC/DC. Come on. The early days with Bon Scott. Bon Scott was the dude. Bon Scott was the dude. Nothing against Brian Johnson. He was fantastic. If you were in high school like I was, you didn't even notice. You were like, oh, yeah, oh, wait, there's a different singer? I had no idea. This guy sounds a lot like Bon Scott. But Bon Scott was just phenomenal. Sorry if you're Brian Johnson. I'm a fan. Don't hate me. But Bon Scott was a better performer, just a better vocalist. I hate you, Rob Carson. I love me some AC/DC. Oh my God in heaven! I've got the winning jingle ready to go because we got some good news today. We're doing this trip to DC. Excuse me, October the 25th through the 29th. And the city is absolutely beautiful. When I was given a choice of where I would like to take you, where I would like you to come with me, they said, we can go to Germany, we can go to Switzerland, we can go to Ireland, we can go to Iceland. I'm like, oh, sure, I want to go to Iceland. What the hell? They said, we can go to Washington, D.C. I probably don't want that because you live there. I'm like, hell yeah, I want people to come to D.C. I want people to come to D.C. I want you to see how beautiful it is. I want you to join me as we celebrate our 250th year and Donald Trump is the Prezi. They're redoing the reflecting pool. It's going to look beautiful. It was gotten so bad there that if Forrest Gump would have gotten in there with Jenny, they would have died of typhus. They would have, but now it's going to be crystal clear. It's going to look like Disney World, like a log ride at Disney World. It's going to be so clean. You got to be able to go to the White House Visitor Center. You got to go see the Capitol building, Arlington National Cemetery, the changing of the guard. Stand in awe before the towering figure of Abraham Lincoln. Take in the beauty of D.C.'s legendary memorials with a special nighttime illumination tour. Go to the museums. We're going to go to the museums. The museums are amazing on the mall. Oh, my Lord. Might even hit some food trucks. Oh, yeah, baby. It's a big deal. Our adventure includes premium hotel accommodations for 4 nights in the heart of D.C., 6 meals, ground transportation guides and gratuity. Spaces are limited. Travelwithrob.net. Travelwithrob.net if you would. All right? Travelwithrob.net or 800-383-3131. 800-383-3131. Time for our winning jingle.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning. Lots of winning. It's oh so good.
All right, the latest unemployment numbers from a CNBC.
Initial jobless claims hitting the wires at 189,000. 189,000. Wow, that is truly incredible. We're looking at levels truly that we probably haven't seen since the late 60s. This is very, very incredible.
Well, that's bad news for Democrats, isn't it? Oh, and by the way, this is kind of fun. Lee Zeldin was in front of a congressional hearing yesterday, and he destroyed the climate change argument. This is our EPA director. This has the left freaking out. We've spent trillions of dollars on global warming, climate change, murder hornets, ozone hole, acid rain, and it's done nothing. It's been wasted. It's just payoffs to NGOs and lobbyists and companies that make crappy electric cars and school buses. Listen to the glorious Lee Zeldin and his takedown.
When predictions are made in the past, science will have a range of the pessimistic to the optimistic. And in order to justify, for example, the 2009 endangerment finding, they were adopting the most pessimistic views of the science. Now, when you get to 2026, great news. You're able to rely on present-day facts in 2026 rather than any bad assumptions from 2009. And just because you take exception when a member of Congress says in January of 2019, in 12 years, the world's about to end, if we're sitting here today saying, well, gosh, it's only 4 years and 9 months left, I don't think the world is about to end, they want to vilify you as if you're denying.
They freaking lied.
Denying science. I mean, I just saw a clip yesterday where Al Gore was talking about global freezing.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble.
Yeah, this is Al Gore. Listen to Al Gore the other day. Al Gore speaking. He says after years of saying that the polar ice caps are going to be, gone and that Kilimanjaro will be ice-free, all have not happened. All have not happened. he says this, and this is Lee Zeldin's response.
There's a whole big article summarizing the
I think it's going to be a global cooling thing.
recent dire warnings of the scientists who found yet more confirmatory information that this is a very real threat within the next 25 years.
Listen.
If that happens and the Gulf Stream ceases to exist as we know it, we're in an ice age in like 10 years.
No. It would take long, but it would be bad.
He must have figured out a way to make a whole lot of money off of global freezing.
Yeah, 100%. This is Leonard Nimoy. He played Mr. Spock on Star Trek. And here he is talking about the coming ice age way back in the 70s. And by the way, it didn't happen.
At least 8 times in the past 1,000,000 years, it has advanced and retreated with clockwork regularity. If we are unprepared for the next advance, the result could be hunger and death on a scale unprecedented in all of history. What scientists are telling us now is that the threat of an ice age is not as remote as they once thought.
Yeah, and it didn't happen, so there's that. Let's go back to Lee Zeldin in Congress.
Keeping up. I thought it was global warming, and now it's global freezing.
Freezing, yeah, that's true.
And I don't know what kind of what kind of money is made. You want to talk about making money off of a climate grift?
Yeah.
Well, what won't get referenced by your colleagues on the opposite side of the aisle who bring up the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund is that the money was going to former Obama and Biden officials.
Really?
The money was going to Democratic donors. The conflicts of interest that we saw, the amount of self-dealing, the unqualified recipients. Climate
Stacey
United Fund
Abrams.
CEO was a special assistant in OMB during the Obama-Biden administration. They received $6.9 billion.
Wow.
If you could go down the list with that
We got
entity, you go
screwed.
through the Coalition for Green Capital, about a Biden-Harris climate advisor serving on the board, joining the board in 23 while the organization was applying for GGRF. Power Forward Community CEO of Fannie Mae during the Obama-Biden administration. By the way, if we had 10 more minutes, I could just go through conflicts of interest. They're not offended by that. So we just want to stick to the truth. We want to stick to the science. And if you don't agree with them, you don't follow their logic, well, they'll want to vilify you. But hey, as long
It was all a big fat lie. All of it, every bit of it. They took billions of dollars to build charging stations. They built 8 of them. It was all a scam. They were going to electrify all of the vehicles of the post office. There have been like 80 delivered. School buses that were supposed to be built. It's all been a giant freaking scam. We made billionaires out of people for doing nothing. It was all a lie. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello. What we got here? Dookie Bear. Dookie Bear. I just saw somebody make a joke that my ex-wife used to repeat all the time about chickens and roosters. I've got to save this because it is absolutely hilarious. I've got to edit this picture because it's fantastic. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you. Let's go to Rumbly Roo. We've got Dookie Bear with the chicken joke. That's funny that I'm talking about. Hello, J.G. Gare. Wild Bill, what's up, Wild Bill? You guys were talking about smoking meats earlier. Like I said, I'm going to do some sort of a food project this weekend. I don't know what it is. I think I'm going to do pesto. Maybe harissa. I make harissa. It's a Middle Eastern condiment. It's spicy and awesome. Hello, Habalone and Jamie Billett and Gladys Kravitz. Swalwell still hiding out 100%. What am I going to talk about next here? Yeah, I got this. Hold on. Hold on. Let me grab something real quick. Sorry, guys. I've got to get ready for the bit. All right. Anyway, let me see who else is watching Facebook. I'm trying to find Facebook. Hold on. Where's my Facebook people? Sometimes I have trouble loading Facebook. I don't know what the hell the deal is. It's hard to find sometimes, and it's sometimes it's not in the timeline. Sometimes it is. But I know you're there. I can feel ya. Some of you are probably like, we don't want you to feel us. All right. Okay. All right, I got to talk. on, Led Zeppelin. Play for me. It's workout day today, by the way. And I will be listening to some Led Zeppelin. It's some Greta Van Fleet. They're a Gen Z version of that. Here's Dan Rather in 1982.
Concern about rising temperatures on planet Earth heated up a hearing here in Washington today. For years, scientists have theorized about the dangers of the so-called greenhouse effect, the warming of the Earth's atmosphere due to the burning of coal and oil.
Yeah, that was all a bunch of crap. It's been around forever. It was all about Marxism. It was also about control. And then they said, oh, yeah, we're going to, carbon dioxide is going to cause the world to warm. We're going to have to tax you to stop the carbon dioxide, even though everything we do creates carbon dioxide. It was a way to control everything. Duh. That's what it was all about. Here is Jim Gossett, something we did a couple years ago, as Al Gore. Thank you.
Yes, it's only an Al Gore scam. Just a climate change fantasy. It's all liberal make-believe to destroy the economy.
Yeah.
It's a sinister Al Gore scheme to spread grief and cause misery. $10 a gallon gas and no electricity.
They're still doing it in California.
I've got no shame.
Nope.
As I showed on Meet the Press, I've got no shame. I must confess I'm a big fat mess. It's a global warming scheme, just as phony as it can be. But it's making a billionaire out of hypocrites like me.
100% it was a joke.
Watch your power bill triple soon. Say goodbye to your SUV. Just wait till we confiscate your new HD TV.
It all failed. It all failed. The EV fantasy, the moist dream of the Democrat Party failed. Nobody wanted to buy the pieces of crap. And some of them are cool. Listen, I got no problem with that Cybertruck. They're pretty badass. I wouldn't mind having one of those. Wouldn't mind having a plug-in hybrid. But as far as mandating and all of that, it was all a scam. It was all a money grab by Democrats trying to take control of every aspect of our life. They're still doing nonsense like this in Virginia. They're still doing nonsense like this in California. They are literally a pinprick on the face of the world. Anything that happens in Virginia for climate change means absolutely nothing. It's just about taxing you, and it's just about controlling you. Do you understand? Last hour of the show right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide. Real news for real people.
are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 of the show. Right ahead, I want to mention my TV show is called Rob Carson's What in the World. We just wrapped up the taping and the editing and all of that for this weekend. And there are some spit takes. I mean, I watch the show, I assemble the show, I take all the sound bites, I run my own video. Nobody does this in the business. Nobody runs their own business or their own video. And I write the script, I enter the video clips, and then I just stop and improvise whenever I feel like it during the show. And I watch it the next day, and I'm like, what the hell? Did I do that? Because I have a hamster on cocaine between my ears. And it's funny. And this one, I got this story. Oh, my God. I got this story that you're going to do a spit take. You're going to want to pause your television and back it up and watch it again, because you're going to miss out on the next minute of stuff because you're going to be laughing so hard. I'm just telling you. It's really good. Just go to newsmaxtv.com for listings. You can download the Newsmax app. You can get a Newsmax Plus membership. You can watch $3.49 on satellite. You can watch it on YouTube TV. But I'm on Saturdays in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, hopefully moving to nights. We should be there against Fela. And then, of course, Sunday night at 8:30 on Newsmax. Newsmax only political comedy show. Donald Trump retruths me all the time. He loves the show. You've got to watch it this weekend, okay? All right. The left has descended further than I could have ever imagined humanity descending. Charlie Kirk had his neck blown out by an insane person who was convinced by the Democrat Party that he was a racist and a fascist, because the killer wrote on the shell casing of the bullet that blew his neck wide open, fascist. And they howled at it after he died. There were people online who got fired. They got fired from their jobs for howling and laughing that Charlie Kirk got murdered. What a sick bunch of people. I mean, honestly, Charlie Kirk was not a racist. Charlie Kirk was one of the well-versed people I've ever heard. He was one of the most even-keeled debaters I've ever seen. He knew more about theology than I will ever know in my life. He was a brilliant, brilliant man. He was a brilliant man. And then, for some insane reason, people like Candace Owens decided to go after his grieving widow the day after. And she deserved none of this. Erica Kirk didn't deserve none of this. She's a beautiful human being. And she just lost her partner for life in the worst way you could possibly imagine. You sons of bees, how could you possibly do this? It would be like after, going after John F. Kennedy's SIG after he was murdered in Dallas. You know? It was like that. You know? It's so sickening, I can't even imagine. And Erica Kirk explained the other night, because she was traumatized again. She was traumatized again. She went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And somebody tried to kill Donald Trump. This guy goes in with guns. He was going to shoot up the place. And again, this is like going after Jackie Kennedy Onassis after JFK was murdered. That's what they did. Making fun of her dress with, bloodstains on it. That's how the left would treat it today. But here's Erica Kirk explaining why she went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. All right, hold on one second. Let me get it up here.
Everyone is asking why I even went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And it was because many of the journalists in that room have attempted to dehumanize me. And I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me?
Yeah, you cowards.
So, for example, a journalist from the Daily Mail came up to me. She introduced herself, and she was very gracious. She was saying, "You look so beautiful. I'm so sorry for your loss." To which I replied, "It is so nice to put a name to the face, especially with all of the slander, the lies, accusations that are out there surrounding my husband's murder and myself."
Yeah.
And I said to her, "You know what's so interesting? This is my first time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I find it so fascinating, the dynamic that is going on right now, because everyone is all dressed up, and you guys are co-mingling in and out of each other's cocktail parties. And so for one night, you are able to put aside all of your differences for the sake of freedom of speech. And then by Monday morning, things will go back to being an absolute bloodbath between all of you. To which she replied, literally, she said, I know. Isn't it special, right?
Wow. That's demonic possession. I mean, that is the demonic possession. I swear to God, you don't say these things to a grieving widow. This is Representative Andy Ogles. I met him last night. I met Andy last night, and he's a real nice guy, by the way, and he was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I want you to listen to this.
There was a reporter. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. There was a reporter in the room who was under a table, and when the shots went off and everybody's hiding, she said, I hope they killed the orange MF.
Wow.
That was a journalist in the room who was hoping that when she stood up, the President of the United States would be dead. So I'm coming to a public venue where I know it might be hostile to expose myself to an honest dialogue, an open dialogue. And if you ask me a question and I don't have an answer, I will get you something in writing or we can talk on the phone. But when you have members of the press openly enticing, hoping, talking about killing the chief executive officer of this country, again, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, I don't care. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's time to expose these people. No more. No mas, we're done. We're done with this nonsense. We're done with this bloody nonsense. Ridiculous. This is Harriet Hageman. She just kicks butt. I love me some Harriet Hageman. Talking about the White House Correspondents' Dinner and the Southern Poverty Law Center, which for the last 12 years created a race hoax to make sure that they filled their coffers with $800 million and demonized MAGA and Donald Trump as racist. They created racism events. They divided us. They divided our kids when there was no racism. We fought together. We built stuff together. We intermarry. We adopt each other's children. We love one another. It's all a friggin' psyop. This is your Democrat Party. Here is Harriet Hageman.
I find it very rich that any Democrat would attempt to lecture us about violence in light of the fact that it was yet another one of theirs who just 3 days ago sought to assassinate our president and his cabinet. And don't get me started on the Democrats' favorite KKK supporter, the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah.
So spare me your faux outrage about violence.
Yep.
According to the DOJ's report on the Biden administration's weaponization of the FACE Act, quote, in total, during the 4 years under President Biden, the DOJ charged more than 45 pro-life defendants in over 20 cases with violating the FACE Act in connection with pro-life demonstrations. This is in stark contrast to largely ignoring attacks on pro-life pregnancy resource centers.
Now, these are the things that the Democrat Party leadership, not rank and file, there's a lot of people who disagree with this, but this is who they bedded down with. This is the kind of things they bedded down with, and nothing good will come out of this. If you follow this path, if you go down this path where you pray for violence or you celebrate when someone is murdered, or whatever, anything like this, if you are down with that, I'm telling you, if you believe in God, you've got to understand this is not going to end well for you. If you believe in karma, you've got to believe this is not going to end well for you. When you wish these kind of things on someone, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. That is the yin and the yang. That is the opposite, the equal and opposite reaction. That is good and evil, and evil always gets defeated. If it weren't defeated, then Hitler's nephew would be in charge of Nazi Germany right now. The Berlin Wall would still be there. There's a lot of things. Pol Pot with his relatives would still be in power. I can go on and on and on. It's not going to end well for you. It's not going to go well for you. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go tell that midnight rider. Tell the gambler, the rambler, the backbiter. Tell him God Almighty is going to hunt him down, going to shut him down. It's going to happen. I don't like to proselytize. I'm just talking about yin and yang, good and evil, reaction to the action. It's real. It's going to happen. The opposite reaction to evil is good, and good is overtaking. Get on the side of good. There you go. It's really not a bad thing. It's a pretty cool place to be. And we can be joyful, and we don't have to live in darkness. We don't have to. Every day I go down by the Potomac River and I watch the mist coming on the river, and it's so bloody beautiful. And I realize that I don't have enough life for darkness and this sort of behavior. I want to live in joy and patriotism and faith. That's the way I'm going to live. And we can come together, Republicans and Democrats, we can come together and enjoy it rather than living in this darkness. I swear it's happening. It is happening. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
Countdown.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler, the gambler, the backbiter. Tell him that God's gonna cut 'em down. Tell 'em that God's gonna cut 'em down.
That is Johnny Cash before he passed away, his version of the song Run On, which is about karma catching up with you. Yeah, I like Elvis's version better, actually.
Run on for a long time. Let me tell you, God Almighty's gonna cut you down. Go tell that long-tongued liar. Go tell that midnight rider. Tell the gambler around with the backbiter. Tell them God Almighty's gonna cut 'em down. Stop God Almighty.
Yeah, there you go. You know, that's just the truth. That's just the truth. And I'm not, I'm not a Bible banger. I couldn't cite a Bible verse right now, unless I heard it at a funeral. I'm just telling you, karma's coming. Karma's coming. It's coming for those who perpetrated COVID on us. FDA officials covered up about 25 shot safety signals, including sudden cardiac death, heart attacks, blood clots, neurological damage, and dementia. I know. We were told it was completely safe. Here's Ron Johnson. He's exposing the truth. He's a senator. Listen to this, because they told us you had to take the shot. They told us that there were no injuries. They told us that it was perfectly safe, and they made a butt ton of money. Man, they made some money.
Here's the sheet. These are the adverse events that they were showing a safety signal for using the new method. Bell's palsy, sinus rhythm, cardiac failure, chronic, acute left ventricular failure, agonal rhythm, which is severe rhythm.
By the way, when COVID was happening and they were forcing the vaccine, a senior FDA medical officer uncovered these things and was told to cease and desist. Dr. Anna Zwarfman developed a VAERS analysis system that fixed masking, but they shut her down and they continued to force the vaccine on us.
Arrhythmia generally occurred at the end of life. Pulmonary infarction, cerebral artery occlusion, aortic stenosis, sudden cardiac death, hypertensive emergency, basal ganglia stroke. Now, these aren't minor. Remember, we're always told, adverse events are rare and minor. These are not minor adverse events.
No, I'm just playing the senator of the United States of America. Okay, you take from it what you will. I already wrote my son about this. He's got a friend in Colorado who was 20-some years old. He decided to move out to Colorado. He'd been vaccinated and boosted and all of that, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's got myocarditis. And he will not be able to hike like he planned the rest of his life, and he will not listen to me when I say, hey, man, you ought to get that spike protein, which comes from a wellness company that can help you get that spike protein out of your blood, maybe heal you. Won't listen to me because of politics. Won't listen to me. This is what the media did. This is what the media did to you and me.
You are the unvaccinated. You are the problem. It is the unvaccinated who are the problem. Period. End of story.
The only people that you can blame, the only people.
I remember this, and this is like biblical. You were like being cast out. You're unvaccinated. You were being cast out of society. It was just bizarre.
Who you can blame. This isn't shaming. This is the truth.
Wow.
Maybe they should be shamed. But the unvaccinated.
It's time to start blaming the unvaccinated folks, not the regular folks.
Anyone you came into contact with will blame you, as will the rest of us who have done the right thing by getting vaccinated.
There were people that actually wanted to sequester us, like put us in prison camps for didn't get the vaccine. It's crazy. Here's some more from Ron Johnson about the adverse effects and the number of VAERS, actual injuries and whatnot, the incidences of injury because of the vaccine. Listen to this.
The data depicted on these charts alone should have raised the alert level to DEFCON 1.
Really?
Now, this first chart
not what I was told.
Is showing deaths reported on VAERS since the inception of VAERS. You can see starting in 1990, deaths were
vaccine adverse effects, by the way.
Approximately a couple hundred per year. Anaphylactic shock, those types of things. Yeah. In 2021, deaths spiked to 21,631.
What?
Now, again,
what?
I didn't need a mathematical algorithm to tell me there's something going on here.
Wow.
And by the way, a lot of people will say, well, that's because we administered billions of doses.
Nope.
One of the letters I wrote to the CDC showed the rate of death per dose, compared it to the flu, which is about 0.46 deaths per million doses.
Yeah.
Time we calculated this, the COVID injection was 25.5 deaths per million doses. That's a 55-fold increase.
Yeah, 55 times. Holy hell. Wow. And you couldn't say anything about it. Oh, my God. Oh, this is Rob Schmidt talking to on Newsmax with John Kennedy, Senator.
Well, I remember when these allegations first surfaced about Dr. Fauci and the other minions.
Lorenz and Daisy.
They paid for the virus to be made.
And we were all told that it's a conspiracy theory and we're all a bunch of nuts. We now know we're going to have to get some new conspiracy theories because the old ones turned out to be true.
They're true, yeah.
I've read enough to know that these gentlemen, these three, one indicted, two unindicted co-conspirators that will be indicted, they're in a lot of trouble. And it looks to me like, as at least as pleaded, that they were trying to hide the facts.
Yeah.
That they were conducting gain-of-function research in China using.
They created a virus that killed millions of people. Oh man, does it get worse? I don't think it gets worse than that. Pretty sure, as far as humanity is concerned, it does not get worse than that. But it gets worse, actually. Here's Senator Ron Johnson talking about healthy children getting the vaccine. The vaccine they didn't need, and those healthy children being killed by it.
A memo that is apparently leaked from CBER Director Dr. Prasad in December 2015, where apparently within FDA you're reviewing, I think it was 96 autopsies of child death following the COVID mRNA injection. In that memo, Dr. Prasad writes, "This is a profound revelation. For the first time, the U.S. FDA will acknowledge that COVID-19 vaccines killed American children. Healthy young children who faced tremendously low risk of death were coerced at the behest of the Biden administration via school and work mandates to receive a vaccine that could result in death. In many cases, such mandates were harmful. It is difficult to read cases where kids 7 to 16 may be dead as a result of COVID vaccines. Putting these facts together, it is horrifying to consider the U.S. vaccine regulation, including our actions, may have harmed more children than we saved. This requires humility and introspection. It requires oversight." And so I wrote a letter to...
Oh, I think it means more than that. It requires some people to go to jail. I chose not to get the vaccine. If you did it, that's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to cast aspersions on you. I didn't want my children to get it. I had my daughter do not only a vaccine but a booster. They ruined both of my kids' academic careers. My son was in college, missed 2 years of interaction with his friends. My daughter lost a good share of her high school. Businesses went out of business. We were told we couldn't go to church. They kept us from church. Go tell that long-tongued liar, tell the gambler, the rambler. You don't do that. That's going to bite you. When you say you can't go to God's house and you're the government, oh boy. It's not going to end well for you. It is not going to end well for you, I'm telling you. Oh, my goodness, oh, my goodness, oh, my goodness. We got all sorts of fraud in Democrat cities. Greg Gutfeld has Tim Wentz for lunch. It's fun. Trust me, it's on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey, guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
Well, they have a lot of cats and mostly barren. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their minds. These Karens don't like ice. They often pay a price, mistakes they're making. Karenism is their curse. Could go to jail or worse for their law breaking. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their minds.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Have a rejoin.
Dig it.
Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly why. Here's Alex Padilla, Senator, being asked about voter ID.
Donald Trump and the Republican Party desperate to hold on to power in November because their record has been so bad.
No, it's been great, actually.
Their only hope.
Closed the border, 8 peace deals around the world. Price of gas was down until we unseated and destroyed the military-industrial complex of Iran, the biggest terrorist creator in the history of mankind. Has been waging war against us for 47 years.
Is to rig the elections. That's why they're doing this.
But there is this effort in California that is focused more on voter ID. What is wrong with the concept if I show up to vote at my polling place that I have to show an ID? When I have to show an ID to buy alcohol. I have to show an ID to get on a plane. I have to show an ID through so many aspects of my life. What's wrong with
and why would Democrats, if they were really concerned about ID and you can't go to the grocery store and you can't get on an airplane and all that stuff, why didn't they do a national campaign to get people the ID they need? Because people who are legal already have forms of identification. The only people who don't are illegals.
Showing an ID to vote.
Yeah, again, they go back to it's a solution in search of a problem. In California, our elections are safe. They are secure.
That is hilarious.
We want to keep them as
But would this make it
accessible as
safer?
You are a
possible.
lying Sacagawea.
Well, but this could also keep eligible people from voting if you forgot your ID or you forgot to renew it, the week before. Now it's all of a sudden it's
Okay, just the dumbest arguments. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. And this is what the Democrat Party is trying to convince you.
Do you think voter ID is racist?
No, how's that racist?
No, not necessarily.
It's not racist. It's
No, it
just,
never was.
checking who's voting in your elections.
I don't know why it would be, but I mean, if it is, then we shouldn't do it.
Democrats are saying it's racist. Do you agree with them?
I'm a Democrat, so I agree with them.
Because you're an idiot.
Do you have an ID on you?
I do.
Democrats say that it's racist to require ID to vote in U.S. elections.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
They like to complain about everything, I guess.
Everybody should know where to get an ID, and if you qualify for an ID, then
Yeah, it's an insult to black people and women. They said women can't get an ID either. That's just brilliant. Tell your wife that sometimes. Say, honey, you're just too dumb and helpless to get an ID. You should never divorce me, because if we ever got divorced, you wouldn't be able to get an ID. And I have a feeling you'd probably get some divorce papers served up pretty quick. Pretty darn quick. There you go. All right. Let's talk about fraud. Let's talk about fraud, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Here is a Los Angeles comptroller maybe, Kenneth Mia, saying they found fraud and abuse. A single homeless provider gave fake documents and invoices, stealing $23 million. And then it ended up costing there was a Skid Row Housing Trust that managed 29 buildings, let the properties rot, cost $34 to $40 million. And right now in California, there are 800 more cases just like that that are even more expensive. The homeless industrial complex is a Democrat fundraiser. It is a way to pay off Democrat donors and get them to vote for you, and also donate to Democrat campaigns, and assure that they are in power in perpetuity.
Controller Miguel, can you give me a most recent example of one of the outcomes of one of the audits that y'all have done?
Yeah. One of 800.
Sure.
Or fraud, waste, and abuse, whichever one.
Sure, I can mention.
They closed down 400 of these fraudulent hospice care centers. 400.
The most recent one was 3 months ago, where we found that there was a homeless service provider who wasn't providing the contractual obligations.
This is why the homeless population's gone up.
And not meeting the performances. And when we investigated, they gave our investigators fake documents, fake invoices, and that amounted to $23 million being defrauded. And that prompted the...
Remember when I told you that when Joe Biden was first elected, all of the problems, all of the things that were broken when he was elected, none of them have been fixed? Now we know. Now we know why. Now we know why. Infrastructure is broken. Now we know why. Healthcare is broken. Now we know why. Social Security is broken. Now we know why. All of these things because the money was stolen. The money was stolen and given to donors and NGOs, and it made people rich, and they voted for Democrats and kept Democrats in power. Here's Chris Rufo on where the fraud is in California.
Sure. Well, really, Medi-Cal is the 100-pound fraud within the system. And HHS officials told me that they estimate that the state of California is now losing up to $50 billion a year to fraud. And what I've noticed in the reporting is that it seems like every criminal enterprise from around the world has looked at California as a vulnerability they're seizing. In our reporting, we show that neo-Nazi prison gangs, Romanian fraud scammers, death row inmates, and foreign fraud gangs have all been ripping off the state of California.
To the tune of like $500 billion. If I were in California, I'd be a little mad, but Democrats keep voting Democrat. Here's Greg Gutfeld talking about Tim Roots. People love it when I do that, by the way. Love it when I say Tim Roots. Anyway, Tim Volz is going to go to jail, hopefully, because he is a crooked SOB. Weaselly little man dropped out of running for governor again because he's screwed. He's allowed billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions in fraud. It is nakedly obvious. The Somalia community, every one of the people who not only created these schemes but also partook in them, even these parents who lied about their children having autism so they could get money, they should all be deported, every damn one of them. Goodbye, all of you. Bye. If you did it, bye. You're done. You're denaturalized. You're out of here. Here is the glorious Greg Gutfeld, because they sent a bunch of these raids into these Leering centers in Minnesota, and all of a sudden old Tim Volz wants to take credit for it, even though Tim Volz said he didn't want to work with federal officials on anything. He didn't want to work with them on immigration, wasn't going to work with ICE, was burning down the cities, terrorizing ICE agents, trying to run them over and everything. And all of a sudden, Tim Volz is saying, no, we want to work with federal officials. Yeah, they're not participating. They've covered up billions of dollars in fraud over years. People who actually came forward and were whistleblowers, they were shut down, demoted, or fired. Billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars sent to Somalia in cash, in suitcases through Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. The number one funder for Al-Shabaab, the terrorist organization in Somalia, are the Minnesota taxpayers. How do you feel about that, Minnesota? Here's Greg Gutfeld. All right, here we go. One more time.
That business alone received $2 million in taxpayer money last year.
He's talking about the Leering Center.
But when Nick Shirley rolled up to investigate, it was empty as a tip jar when a Starbucks barista doesn't compliment my muscles. Here's what Tim Volz tweeted shortly after the raids. Quote, "You commit fraud in Minnesota, you're going to get caught." And that's exactly what we saw today. We catch criminals when state and Fed agencies share information. Joint investigations work, and securing justice depends on it. Wait, so who is we? How did he become part of this?
He didn't.
He acts like he's leading the parade against corruption when he presided over it.
Yes.
It's like P. Diddy saying, I helped catch a lot of hookers.
Nice. And Tim Volz knew about it. He knew about the fraud, Greg Gutfeld.
Volz is the same creep who previously smeared the investigations as white supremacy.
Yeah.
This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize.
You're afraid you're going to go to jail
for being white.
But suddenly there's a new sheriff in town, and they forgot to tell Volz.
Yeah.
He's like a guy who never did his job, slept under his desk, drank during lunch, hit on the secretaries, stole from the expense account, and then he realizes they had security cameras the whole time.
Yeah. And one more, Greg Gutfeld sticks.
But this is what happens when ideology replaces oversight. When you're afraid of being called racist, you stop looking altogether.
Yep.
Fraud becomes a lot easier when no one's paying attention. And under his watch, nobody was.
Nope.
They just wrote the checks without asking any question.
100%.
Volz has done this before by overstating his military career.
Yep.
Now he's just extending stolen valor to new places. He also blames the fraud on his state being too generous. Sorry, dude, it's not generous when you're giving away other people's money. And now he says the buck stops with me.
I've said the buck stops with me. And as I know, some of you will take that as an open invitation to play politics with every incident of fraud that takes place here in Minnesota.
Piece of crap.
Even though I have to tell you, the statistics show it's happening in red states more than here. But
no, it's not.
So be it.
It's a lie.
The buck stops with me. No, Timmy, the buck didn't stop with you. It went straight out the door and over to Mogadishu.
There you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
99.9 FM in Harford County.
Most importantly of all the things we got done this week, we got the budget resolution passed. This is very, very important because that will ensure that border security and immigration enforcement will continue today and well into the future, despite Democrat attempts to reopen our borders and protect criminal illegal aliens from removal.
There you go. That is Mike Johnson. That is the news right now. I looked at Newsmax.com. Thank you. House votes to end 75-day DHS shutdown. There you are. That's good. Look at the Democrats. Look at the pain the Democrats caused us, shutting down all of the employees who lost their paychecks and all of the people who worked for security in the airports and whatnot. All of it, missed their DHS, ICE. What else? Secret Service. All you guys. And then they did it last year too. And this time this is it. They're done with this nonsense. They can't do this crap anymore. They probably will. Because the Democrats are going to go insane, even more nuts than they already right now. With this defeat of racial gerrymandering, they are going to get violent. I'm just telling you. So, be on your guard and don't put up with it. Just don't put up with it, okay? If you hear violent language, you see violent language, threatening language online, you report it. Somebody tries to get in your face, do what you can. Obviously you want to be safe, but enough is enough with this nonsense, to be quite honest. After weeks of delay, the House voted Thursday to fund much of the Department of Homeland Security. It's not, but not its immigration enforcement operations. Send the bipartisan package to President Trump to sign. Ending the longest shutdown in history. The White House had warned the temporary funding Trump had to pay Transportation Security Administration and other agencies would soon run out. They want border enforcement gone. They realize that, like what happened with this Supreme Court ruling, that they have to have illegal voters because black people are leaving. Hispanics are leaving. They realize that the Democrat Party has brought them nothing but misery and dependence. And so they need to come up with a group of voters that they can load up with government largesse. They bring people from the crap holes of the world. They move them in. They say, we're going to give you this and this and this and this and this. And here's a voter registration form and a Social Security card. And in states like California, you cannot investigate voter fraud. So they can vote. Hell yeah, and it's happening all over the country, so nice try. This is Ron DeSantis mocking Hakeem Jeffries after freaking out with regard to the racial gerrymandering decision by the Supreme Court.
We're going to do maximum warfare against Republicans, Florida Republicans.
That's a pretty good Hakeem Jeffries.
You F around, you're going to find out all this stuff. And, what I said was, listen... and he's like, if you do the redistricting, we're going to take out all your members. We're going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And what I said was,
what?
Go ahead. Make my day.
Boom.
You don't think we're going to...
It's a line we haven't heard since the first Bush presidency.
You want to come down here and
that was a failure.
Spend money and in Florida, roll the dice and take your chances.
100%. I love it. Like I said, they're going nuts. The Democrat Party is going nuts. Death spiral into hell. Told you. Dying like movie vampires. Told you. By the way, a lot of times there are supply constraints on commodities. This could be grain. It could be wheat. It could be, it could be fuel. All of these things, these are subject to supply constraints. Same thing happens with gold. You can't just print gold. Gold is a limited quantity, mineral. And consequently, if somebody's got it, that means you don't got it. And so maybe you better get it because they can't just print it. So right now, Birch Gold is offering you an opportunity to move some of your savings into gold. Birch Gold is through the 29th of May. By the way, it's the 1st of May tomorrow, for crying out loud. Birch Gold giving away first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000. $10,000. For details and free information, you know the drill. Text Rob to 989898. Birch Gold gives you a lot of opportunities to get in. This is a jackpot. This is a ding, 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 ding. Door number 3, I'll take it. Bam. This is the Showcase Showdown, people. This is the Showcase Showdown. Within $100. Not overbidding. Win both of them. There you go. Text Rob to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for the first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000 and a year supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. Actually, just the $10,000. Again, text Rob to 989898 today for Birch Gold. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hi, kids. Oh, yeah, and then I go right into a Birch Gold. Let me see what I'm going to do next year. Jab, Alina. I've covered almost everything today. Almost everything today. Yeah, I might do that one more time. We will see. We will see. Hello, kids. Mike Costantino, what did Truth Be Told say? What's the language in the... try to keep the F-bombs to a minimum, if you would. If you would. Don't like to use that kind of language. Is Truth Be Told, is that a I don't know. Be nice. Be nice. Don't argue. We got enough bullshit from the left. We don't need the bullshit on here. Hobbalone, hello, Hobbalone, hello. Well said, Rob. Boy, thank you very much. Votes! Jamie likes votes, Tim. Votes! There you go. Senator Kennedy is a hoot. Yeah, Leslie Lady Hawk. He's the king of colloquial. He's amazing. Hi, you guys over on Facebook. How are you? I haven't seen much of you today. I'm sorry I've been bloody busy, but we love having you there. We have Prane and all you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We do appreciate you more than you'll ever know. More than you'll ever know. Got some new people watching too, so thank you. Thank you very much. There's a lot of awesomeness happening with the audience. Try to do what I'm going to do here, Carl. Yeah.
You have 4 minutes here.
Breaking moments ago, Maine Governor Janet Mills dropping her bid for the U.S. Senate, saying this in part, quote, "While I have the drive and passion, commitment and experience, and above all else the fight to continue on, I very simply do not have the one thing that political campaigns unfortunately require today. And that's financial resources. That is why today I have made the incredibly difficult decision to suspend my campaign for the United States Senate." So this is important, guys, because this shakeup in the race makes it likely that progressive Graham Plattner, remember that name, he will likely win the Democratic primary in Maine. So while Mills had Chuck Schumer's endorsement, apparently she didn't have enough of his money. Right. And Plattner is backed by Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. And despite a bevy of controversial positions and...
Yeah, he had a Nazi tattoo. He was a Nazi tattoo on his chest, and he had it removed, and he blamed it on his supposed PTSD. He's a really dangerous, frightening man. I mean, if you just watch him talk, you look at him, he is a very, very, he's not a good man. And he's going to be running against Susan Collins, who is a lame-ass candidate. So the Republican Party better sink some money in that race. I wish we had another solution, but it's Maine. It's Maine. That's just Maine. I was watching my friend Jack Heath of Benny Media talking about Maine. Maine is a cluster bleep right now. Maine is a cluster bleep. New Hampshire is not. New Hampshire is a pretty damn cool place. If it weren't so stinking cold in the winter up there, I would consider buying a house up there. But I'm done. I'm kind of done with all that cold weather nonsense. I mean, I've had enough. I know. And I don't think it's an age thing. I've never really liked cold weather. I want to play this real quick from Carl Higbie. I open the show with it. Look on all my social media at Rob Carson Show or Rob Carson and see this piece by Carl Higbie last night about the Supreme Court decision, the anti-racism gerrymandering decision yesterday.
OBJ replaced black fatherhood in two-parent homes with the welfare system. And the left is so invested in this as a strategy that they are legit saying it out loud.
The decision today in Louisiana versus Calais completes the set because it effectively dismantles the last leg in the Voting Rights Act's protections, which was for redistricting. Whereas previously, the Voting Rights Act had said when a state draws districts in ways that have the effect of diluting the voting power of racial minorities, of effectively making it so.
Here's the great thing, and by the way, again, check my social media to see Carl's entire piece. It's incredible. These districts that the Democrats are so concerned about that are going to be overturned are former Confederate states run by Democrats. What is the commonality of these districts? They are all racial minorities. They are all poverty-stricken. They are all crime-ridden. They are all dependent on welfare in one way, shape, or form, and they are resentful. They also have the worst schools you could possibly imagine, and the Democrat Party runs them. What has the Democrat Party done? What has the Democrat Party done to represent you in these areas? This is something I've been talking about my entire career. This is something most of us have seen our entire adult lives, and it's finally crumbling. It's finally crumbling. Overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism and faith. It's a glorious day. It is a glorious day. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the show. By the grace of God, tomorrow's Friday. Woo! Yeah, I love it. God bless you, America's founding Donald Trump. He's doing a great job. Our military that's kicking butt and taking names. And until tomorrow, do not catch the stupid. I love you guys. See ya.
All right, Robbie.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.